Hello, everybody. Just getting situated here. Bear with me. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me this evening. If my eyes are wandering, it's because I have two different screens, so I can share this with as many people in our community as possible. Hello, Kelly. So if you don't know me, I'm Angela. I'm from HealYourAdrenalFatigue.com, or HYAF. And I am one of the co-founders and co-creators there. And I am really excited to share with you our 7 key steps to our proven recovery system that has been created with and by naturopathic doctors, also has been backed and approved, and we have adrenal fatigue, and we have naturopaths in our, as part of our team. We are a team of nutritionists, health coaches, naturopathic doctors, adrenal experts, yoga teachers, meditation teachers, people that have been doing this work and have been working in this field for over a decade. Please submit your questions as we go. And I'd love to be able to answer as many as I can. I hope all of you are having a really great holiday season, and you're getting to enjoy time, whatever that time is, to yourself, with your families, and doing actually something you really enjoy. And so anyway, I'm really excited to come and talk to you about this tonight, the 7 like must-dos, the things that you really need to address in order to recover from adrenal fatigue and actually balance your hormones for the long term, right? Because so many of our community struggle with like getting better and then having setbacks and crashes, and then it's like they feel like they've been working hard for like a year and then they have setbacks. So, you know, some of these steps might not be a surprise to you, and that's okay. Really what we're here to do is share our process, our proven system, and we hope you keep an open mind. Know that we, a lot of times people know what to do, but they don't necessarily know how to do it. So I'll be giving you a little bit of like not just the what to do, but how to do it. And then also I want to tell you more about our, let you know about our Fatigue to Fabulous program, which is our signature 10-week program. Hello, Jenny, thanks for joining. Because honestly, what it comes down to is that most people know what to do in the world as far as their health goes, as far as anything really goes. It's just the how that's the hard part. So I'll be giving you a little bit of that tonight, and also sharing a little bit about our Fatigue to Fabulous program, which we're having amazing, having an amazing deal till the end of the year, till January 3rd, to have as many people in our tribe join us for that amazing journey that we take people on to recovery in 2020. So yeah, so I just want to let you know I'm going to be going over those steps. Again, my eyes are wandering because I have 2 different screens here. So, but I am present. I am very much with you. And yeah, so, okay, so let's just go ahead and get started. So step number 1 of our proven system, and what we feel are the keys to recover, are really harmonizing your hormones, is what we call it, or really understanding your hormones. And most important part about, we feel like the best way to understand what's going on hormonally with your body is to know your stage. And so, you know, oftentimes we see so many people trying to kind of figure it out just by their symptoms alone, which can definitely be a good guide. We actually, if you're interested in that, we do have a blog on our website. You can check out, and actually a video by one of our naturopathic doctors on the different stages of adrenal fatigue and what those symptoms look like. But when it comes down to it, you are honestly going to save yourself so much, gosh, energy, time, frustration, money, by getting tested. Some of you might have already done the saliva 4-point cortisol, saliva adrenal test. It's called so many different things. Many people just refer to it as a saliva test. But that is a good indicator. We also have been actually moving towards, with our clients and our naturopathic doctor, working towards the Dutch test, because it's very comprehensive. But the thing is to understand is that hormones, I mean, you already know this, hormones are confusing, but they're very important. Welcome, Fabro Flash. Hello, nice to see you on again. So remembering that hormones are our chemical messengers, they're actually affecting and influencing how you feel in this very moment right now. And because adrenal fatigue is so much an issue of hormonal imbalance, we really have to start there. You know, it's just the first beginning part of this. So what we have to understand is that when you understand the cascade of hormonal imbalance that gets sparked when the adrenals are under stress, it starts to put a whole lot of these connections together. So it's important to understand that adrenal issues at their root have to do with our demands for cortisol and stress hormones that we put on the body, okay? So this could be from a large, you know, really traumatic event in your life that might have happened a long time ago. It could be a buildup of stress over time that tips the cortisol curve either from too high or too low. But that's when you're going to start to notice the different, this in your body, which is going to manifest as symptoms, right? Generally, okay, so we're talking about the first step, guys. So we're just on step number one, really understanding hormones. The earlier stages, you're going to see, you know, cortisol is surging and our body's pumping out a lot of steroid stress hormones like cortisol. But over time, as resources and energy in our body starts to subside, these levels tend to draw off to the point where the body can no longer produce all of that, right? So then the body goes more to what we call like more typical stage adrenal fatigue, stage 3, excuse me, is you know, where you don't have as much cortisol, and that's kind of more the burnout. And so, you know, again, symptoms start to arise, right? So when this goes on for too long, your body is just really stuck in survival mode. And really, it has a profound influence on the brain and the way the brain communicates with the body too, to make the sex hormones, which exacerbates symptoms and so on. So that's just like, I mean, we're talking from symptoms, guys, from stubborn belly fat to thyroid imbalance to food sensitivities and autoimmune conditions, depression, anxiety, low libido, even like fibroid cysts and fertility issues. And that's actually what came up for me when I was struggling with stage 3 adrenal fatigue, is that I couldn't get pregnant. Here I am years later, and this is my 3rd pregnancy. But anyway, so depending on what stage you're in and what hormone, what's going on for you, your symptoms are obviously going to vary. But we just want to remind you that your resiliency, your immunity, everything is impacted in this process. So anyway, what we really want you to realize is how this issue of putting chronically high cortisol stress on your body influences the cascade of other health issues and hormonal imbalances like we're showing you here. So you'll start to really understand the different connections. So this is why we feel like this is so important for this stage, is to really understand your stage. Don't guess when it comes to your hormones. And, you know, I just want to add too, like, all due respect to mainstream doctors, like, just because your doctor says that your hormones levels are fine, you know, don't investigate further, is all I'm going to say, because I was told my hormone levels are fine, then went on to do the adrenal stress index test. This was like 10 years ago, so I didn't have the Dutch test at the time, at least as far as I know. And so I took that simple test. It told me, it was very clear on what was going on for me in my body. And as soon as I knew, I was like already like so many steps ahead in my recovery. It only took me a few months to recover. And now that's not very typical, but that's what happened for me. So yeah, so I could go on and talk about this hormones all day, but this part of it. But what I really just want to say is that we need to understand that the stresses that our body is enduring every day, whether it be stress from our gut or stress from our diet, stress from, you know, things like caffeine, from having sleep issues, or just maybe having, you know, a lot of anxiety and worry in our life, or kind of growing up in that environment and being used to having all of that in our lives. So whether it's like mindset related or more of a physical stress, it's going to affect your health and your hormones. And it's really important that we understand what's at the very root. So even though this is about hormones and kind of the more physiological pieces of recovery, it goes in a lot into what our second step is of our recovery process, which is to really, it's all about rewiring the brain. So I want to go backwards a little bit. So for many of us, and I'm asking me how I know, I was in there. I was, for a lot of you heard my story, but addicted to stress. The only way that I felt worthy was to go, and just constantly be in go mode, and doing and overachieving. And it landed me in stage 3. And that was years in the making. And so really what I want to share is that it's really easy for me to be in a revved up state. I can actually find myself there very often. But so again, your stress could be more of a physical stress, like gut or diet, or a food sensitivity or whatnot, or some really deep like issues with sleep. But for me, it was just the daily life stress that I wasn't ever never taught how to handle. And so as many of you can feel, like that revved up feeling that's often in your body, where you can't slow down at night. You're tense most of the day. Like, it's important that we just get real with ourselves about that, because the sooner that we can, the sooner that we can heal, because we really need to understand that connection. I know some people are like, oh, stop telling me to reduce my stress. Well, it's not about, it's really about finding the root and what that, hello, Simply Nish, what that root issue is for you, and just being honest with yourself without judgment. If it is, you know, that you can't get out of do mode. And I work with my clients a lot on this, because this is what I specialize in, is helping people shift their patterns around life and the reactions to life and stress, so that they can actually finally heal. It's such a key piece, okay? So the big question is, when moving into that step 2 I talked about, is really understanding what is at the root, so you can help if it is you know, where you're revved up, you have a high stress, you're A-type personality, you tend to worry and have a lot of anxiety, then it's really helping you to, the second step is to rewire your brain for recovery. And this is again about not judging yourself, but understanding that that there's a deep connection here with this and your hormones. If you don't get under control, honestly, you won't ever be able to heal. And I'm just completely being honest. And the reason I know is because I went through it myself. And so, and if I can change my patterns around stress, and I can learn how to chill out and enjoy life and slow down my mind, you certainly can too. I know you can do it. And I know it's going to be very powerful for your recovery, because it was so powerful for me, and I can't stress it enough. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear it. I get emails pretty much every day telling me that they really just want supplements to be the thing that heals them. And I'm here to tell you that it's just, you're going to spend a lot of time and frustration with supplements, and a lot of money. And a lot of times, I mean, we have so many people emailing us every single day about their struggles with supplements and going downhill and having setbacks. So I just want to be really clear about that. So in order for you, you know, this is something we do in our programs. We're really big on addressing kind of the root issues, or some of the stress issues that we have in life. And it's not your fault, because our lives are just, this fast-paced world we live in is just a part of life. But it doesn't mean that we don't need to learn how to slow it down a bit, because we can have chaos around us, but it's how we're dealing with it inside and how we're reacting to it that makes the difference. Okay, so I could say so much about this topic, but I'm not going to. But I just want us to get real with ourselves about stress and rewiring the brain. And it's really, really fun stuff when you can start to actually like be calmer and be more present for the people in your life that you want to be present for. So it's like you can heal your adrenal, you know, fatigue and balance your hormones, and also like enjoy life more. And so it ripples, it creates a ripple effect in your life. Like it just makes your relationships stronger and your health stronger. And so it's just so worth it. So anyway, again, I could go on and on. Step 3, okay? This is all about optimizing nutrient absorption. And this is a lot of people know about, you know, we did a Facebook Live recently about this. And, you know, you really need to, what's really important for this process, I should say, is that we need to identify if there's any gut issues going on. And if there are gut issues, we need to address them or rule them out. So whether it's, you know, leaky gut or a parasite or candida, if we don't get to the bottom of those issues, we will not be able to heal. I'm just being completely honest. Because it's putting stress on your body and your adrenals every time you eat, if you have gut issues, right? Remember that adrenal fatigue too is a condition of depletion. And we have to be nourishing our bodies up with like really good food and possibly supplements in order to, and so if we have poor gut microbiome, it's keeping us from absorbing all the nutrients from maybe all the supplements that you're spending money on or all the good food you're trying to eat, then it's going to be hard to recover if you can't get all those nutrients from your food. So it's so key that you make this. I mean, we have actually had a lot of clients who come to us and they just addressing the gut alone is like life-changing in so many ways. And so I just want to make sure that, so again, it's figuring out if you have one. If you already have one, like this is not any news to you, then good. I just recommend that you just continue to, you know, get to the bottom of it. And for those of you who are new to it, it's about really understanding the symptoms of each of those different conditions that lie in the gut. And we do that in our Fatigue to Fabulous program, where we help you identify what those are. We have quizzes, and then we also have protocols for each of those different issues. And then we also, as part of our Fatigue to Fabulous program, we also have, we've actually added our gut reset program, which is our gut healing program, to Fatigue to Fabulous, because we found that that was such a barrier for people, and we wanted to make it more accessible. So the health of the gut influences so many things, right, you guys? I mean, we're talking from your energy levels to your hormones to your immunity. It just, the list goes on to even your mood can all be part of the gut. So we're talking like healing your gut can be life-changing, like I said. Okay, so I want to move on because I want to keep moving through this. Feel free to ask all your questions. So again, we break all this down in Fatigue to Fabulous. So if you want to be part of our recovery journey, we'd love to support you in that. So step 4, we feel like one of the must-dos for 2020 for you to heal. Hello, Nina. Thanks for joining. So step number 4 is discover your healing diet. Now, it's your healing diet, and we say that for a reason, because we believe, and we've seen this in practice, where it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing for diet, okay? We've seen people heal on all sorts of different diets, from keto to Mediterranean to, you know, whether people go gluten-free, sugar-free. I mean, it's all over across the board where how people can heal from this condition. So or maybe, so basically this is the thing, is really understanding what is working for you and isn't working for you. Chances are you have a lot of anxiety around food, what you should or shouldn't be eating, because if you've been at this for a while, then you've had to eliminate foods because you become, you know, sensitive to them, and or, you know, maybe you're just relying on sugar and caffeine if you're in that stage, and sugary carbs just to get through the day, then that's a really good place to start. Anyway, there's tons of advice out there. It can be very confusing and overwhelming, but we just want to be clear that we are confident that it's really about you and your body, and it's about a little bit of trial and error that we know does take time and can be kind of frustrating, but can be very important. It is very important. So again, it can be very challenging for people to actually you know, make the changes to their diet, and to also not get overwhelmed in the process. And so, you know, that's really why we love having our healing community, our recovery programs, because like I said before, it's, you know, a lot of people know what they should be doing, but doing it is another story, and sticking to it is another story, especially when you have other things going on, like the symptoms of adrenal fatigue that, you know, make it so you have lower energy, and you know, don't have maybe the best ability to cope with stress right now. And so, you know, we just want to say that it will take a little bit of time to do some tweaking, to maybe eliminate some things. And we help you sort of with that process. If you work with us, we help you sort of eliminate it. How do we do this in the easiest way possible? You have meal plan, and all of our programs, we have meal plans and recipes. And what's great about our nutritionist is that, I mean, she makes the most amazing recipes and things. And also she doesn't want to spend hours in the kitchen either. So all these recipes are pretty easy to implement. And she's always giving great tips and tricks to how to make it easier for you. Number one thing I want to tell you right now is that you need to kind of start to eliminate the things that you're eating that are creating more stress in your system. That's just hands down. This comes back to what we spoke about, you know, nutrition absorption. Like, you're just going to be on this vicious cycle if you don't take those things out. So we have people coming to us who are, you know, frustrated or having heart palpitations and still drinking coffee. Well, it's important that, you know, for certain situations, like if, you know, taking certain things like that out of your diet, like caffeine or a lot of processed foods and like high sugar, high carb foods can be a very good first step, right? We have to sort of end that cycle. So I want to give you a few quick tips for kickstarting your adrenal health with food before I move on to the next step. So let's see. Number one is start removing foods you're sensitive to, like I mentioned. And then, again, a food journal is one of the most profound things that we do with our clients. So just throwing that out there. I'm not going to talk too much about it because I could be here for another hour. Number two is to remove the offending foods. And really just, so again, it's like, you know, high carb foods, coffee, or caffeine, I should say, and replacing them with really nourishing, dense, nutrient dense foods and balanced meals. So embracing, you know, healthy fats. We have a couple YouTube videos on all this, so you can go get more information, but I'm not going to go into it all right now. Quality proteins and the right types of carbs in moderate amounts. And we're also big on portion control, because a lot of people with adrenal fatigue suffer with blood sugar imbalance, which we talk a lot about in our programs and help you navigate that. Okay. And then number three is, you know, is the coffee caffeine thing. It keeps us highly stimulated, interferes with our sleep, and it can contribute to hormonal and blood sugar issues. So honestly, if you're having, if you know that you're struggling with symptoms of adrenal fatigue and just trying to cut out coffee, we have awesome coffee alternatives. We have an awesome matcha latte recipe on our website. You can go check that out. Just trying to send you some good resources here. And so those are just a couple of key things that we would say you should start with, okay? Guzman Mill, welcome. Thanks for joining. Step number 5 of our system, the must-dos to really recover this year, is to get your sleep in rhythm. Now, we know many of you have sleep issues, so, you know, we get it. You know, you're having trouble falling asleep, you're having insomnia, the list goes on. And you know, it's really hard to do this, to heal and to do all the things you need to do in your daily life when you can't sleep or when you're tired, right? So let's talk about, for just a moment, I'm going to briefly go through this, like why you're not getting good sleep and why it's challenging for you, and what a few things that you can do about it, okay? So the reason it's hard to sleep right now is because your circadian rhythms are out of balance. And this is your natural sleep-wake cycle, I'm sure you're familiar with. You know, we're diurnal beings, not nocturnal beings. We're meant to be awake during light hours and sleep during dark. And so, you know, But most of us in this reality, to be honest, don't go to bed, you know, right after the sun sets or shortly after, right? And so over time, these sleep patterns, going to bed really late, it does catch up with us. And, you know, it's kind of that chicken or egg, like whether the sleep issues came first or the adrenal fatigue caused the sleep issues. Really, it's just about understanding like why you're not getting the sleep, and then you can hopefully and give you some pointers on what to do about it. So, but what's keeping the rhythm and cueing us to do various things like wake up and get sleepy are our hormones, right? So we really, cortisol is what wakes us up in the morning, and melatonin is the hormone that makes us sleepy and prepares us for deep sleep. So you can start to kind of realize that hormonal imbalance and sleep issues are, there's a huge correlation there. And so if nighttime cortisol levels are more elevated than they should be, which is very common for adrenal fatigue sufferers, then again, it causes us to be wired at night. It's hard for us to relax. It's hard for us to wind down and fall asleep. And then once we're asleep, we just don't get that deep sleep, right? The other thing that happens when we have elevated nighttime cortisol is it prohibits a really important hormone from being released, and that's melatonin. And it keeps melatonin from us getting the right amount of melatonin, which is the hormone that makes us tired. So that's a bummer. So so whether your circadian rhythms got out of balance because of poor habits growing up, or maybe you're just a family of night owls and that's just how you got used to it. I mean, this could be a big stress on your body. And it's just important that you realize that as a part of this process, if you're newer to this, like getting your sleep in rhythm and getting that dialed in and being really committed to having being disciplined with your sleep routine is actually a very important part of this process. And when you start sleeping well, I'm sure this is a no-brainer, but when you start sleeping well, it's way easier for your body to heal. So all I want to say is many of you have been working really hard on this. I get it, but just like being disciplined about it is pretty important. And I can't say enough about that. So a few more tips I want to share. Some of you might not know, but going to bed before 11 o'clock, even 10 o'clock if you can, because melatonin tends to be highest before that time. So it'll be easier to fall asleep and actually easier to stay asleep. Let's see, avoiding bright lights and screens before bed. This shuts off the pineal gland, which is a really important part of is how you make melatonin. So that's really important. And again, make sleep a priority. And then magnesium. I know some of you have heard, if you've been in this game for a while, like magnesium is nothing new to you. But what I do want to say about that is sometimes people take magnesium and they're not absorbing it properly. I really would stay away from pill form. I would definitely stick to more of like a magnesium oil spray, which you can definitely find on Amazon. And I am like a huge proponent and advocate of this because, magnesium is actually a really powerful relaxing mineral. It's actually on the crash cart in emergency rooms. That's how important and vital it can be to your health. So even if it's not helping with your sleep right now, it's not like the silver bullet that gets you like sleeping 8 hours a night. It doesn't mean that it's not helping you. So I want to make sure that you understand that maybe you're just not absorbing what you're taking right now. Try magnesium in different forms. And we have vlogs about this. So I don't want to go on too much about it right now because we have so many resources. We have YouTube videos on this. I think that's all I want to say about that right now. But one last thing is that 50% of Americans are deficient. I would say even more than that in magnesium. So even if it's not the silver bullet to like help you recover, like and turn your whole sleep thing around, chances are your body still needs it. If you have trouble relaxing, if you have twitches or like joint pain or restless leg, like all of those things can help. And again, like anything else, it's not necessarily going to work overnight. You have to give it some time to work. So number 6, we're getting close. Okay, let's see. I have a question. Has anyone experienced depersonalization with adrenal fatigue, or feeling like they're in a dream or fog? My last symptom, annoying. Thanks for the advice. Getting married days after Christmas and plagued with this symptom. Oh, wow. I don't know, Nina, if you're still with us. Sorry, it's hard with the different screens to have to stay with some of these questions, but that is a very common symptom of adrenal fatigue. And I would say that, again, it's very common. And I would say that my recommendation to you, Anina, would be to really work on getting grounded in your body and staying present in your body as much as possible. Doing some deep belly breathing. I have some yoga on our YouTube channel, Adrenal Fatigue TV. I have some yoga sequences, and I have a meditation album if you're interested, but excuse me. Let me just take a drink real quick. But a lot of times, even if you just think of it in an emotional, mental way, that when things are so intense in our lives and in our bodies, it's like we shut ourselves off. Life can kind of be too hard. And so I just want to say that, grounding yourself each day, starting your day with some affirmations or powerful questions that you can ask yourself to really get present in your body. And a lot of times when we feel brain fog, it's like we feel like we're kind of up here in the clouds. And I just want to really give you the recommendation of really feeling grounded in your body. And like when you're sitting or when you're standing, like to feel the earth beneath your feet, ground down through your feet. I know it's a little woo-woo, but I can't tell you enough how powerful this stuff can be. Again, when your body doesn't feel safe, it feels stressed. And so, right, that's the whole stress hormone, sex hormone demand we're talking about, this vicious cascade cycle. So I can't stress enough how powerful grounding exercises and breathing exercises are. We have to learn how to get back into our bodies and not be so out here. So thank you for sharing that, Nina, and you're not alone. And I totally get it. And that's my default mode. Or, that's where I can go when I start to kind of get unconscious and go on autopilot. So that's my advice to you. I hope it was helpful. Step 6 is about realizing your healing movement. And a lot of you guys ask about, movement and what exercise should I be doing. I just want to say, as far as exercise and movement goes, it all depends on your stage of adrenal fatigue. We definitely help in the Fatigue to Fabulous program. We talk a lot about, what's best for each stage. We help people, actually make catered plans if they're really interested in, they want to bring movement and exercise back into their life. They really want to run a marathon in a year, and like really helping them sort of prepare and think about how they're going to do that in a safe way. I want to remind people that a lot of times in this world, we think that exercise has to be going to the gym or running 5 miles a day or whatever it is. That's why we talk about this must do, or this key of our program and our system is about movement and healing movement. Because if we're going every day, all day in this revved up mode, and then we go to the gym and rev up more and demand more cortisol, stress hormones in our body, we're not having any opportunity to heal. And then we're going home and having trouble sleeping. It's like, who does the body and the adrenals get time to heal? So I just want to stress, just say that like there are so many different forms of exercise. And I also love to incorporate this idea of bringing joy into your exercise, because a lot of people feel like exercise has to be hard. And I'm actually not subscribing to that at all anymore in my life, because I actually love to do exercise that brings me a lot of joy. So I don't go to gyms. I do things that I make my hobbies movement related. So whether it be hiking, rock climbing, surfing, stand-up paddleboarding, dancing. I mean, those are things we can all do, right? You don't have to be a good dancer to go to a dance class, go to a Zumba class or something. But the other thing about the joy, and I'll relate this back to hormones, because I know some of you want the like understand that connection, is that joy is the hormone oxytocin brings us joy, and has those beautiful surge of happy hormones. And so the more that you're stressed when you're working out, or you're stressing about working out or not working out, the more that you're putting stress on your body, and the more you're demanding of your adrenals. And so I just really encourage you to like find something that works for you. Yin yoga is a great could be a great avenue for you. Meditation, that might feel like a stretch right now. So just listening to guided meditations. I have created a meditation album just for adrenal fatigue sufferers. And it was inspired because I know how easy it is to get, I found myself, well, you guys know some of you guys know my story and where I came from. And so for me, I learned a lot of intense habits as a young person. And that's how I landed in adrenal fatigue stage 3. And so I was really, once I became a yoga teacher and a meditation teacher, and then it was just so inspired. It's like I was so excited to create an album just for people with adrenal issues and hormonal imbalance, because it's really, really important that we start rewiring the brain, which is step 2 of our process, right? Rewiring the brain for joy, for, you know, learning if we're A-type personality. It doesn't mean you can't be a perfectionist, but learning how to do that in a way that doesn't bring a lot of anxiety and judgment into your world, and how to navigate that easier so that you're not causing harm to your physical body anymore. I hope that's helpful. So again, finding the right movement that works for you, that's a big part of our program as well. And let's see. So again, if you are, struggling, we really highly recommend not doing a bunch of, you're in stage 3 adrenal fatigue, you wouldn't be doing a lot of cardio and high intensity workouts until you're healed. Doesn't mean you can't do those, later down the road. It just means when you're trying to recover and you're doing that type of workout, it's not going to be, it's going to hinder your healing, and it's going to take you backwards. So, all right. So the last step of this process, you guys, like I said before, some of these things might not be new to you. I hope it was helpful because I gave you some insights. I gave you some extra, a lot of little extras, how to do's with all of these things, right? It's not just like, what do you do, but how do you do it? I touched on a little bit of that tonight. Again, I just scratched the surface. And so a lot of times for people, it's not what you need to do, but how do you do it and where do you start? And that's pretty much for most of us. Things that I struggle with in my life now, I'm no longer dealing with adrenal fatigue, but other things that we're dealing with, right? It's like, okay, and that's what I love helping people do, is how do you actually start it? And that's what I am trained to do as a lifestyle coach. So let's talk about that. Like, you have a couple options. You can keep doing what you're doing, or I would love for you to take these steps into your life and in 2020 and really use them for your recovery, and really shifting with the diet and the gut and the sleep stuff and the mindset. And but if you're just tired of doing it alone, I just want you guys to know that we have an amazing program. It's a 10-week immersive adrenal recovery program called Fatigue to Fabulous, and you can learn more about that in our profile or here. We can put links here in the page. We have, it's $527 right now, which is, it's never going to be this price again. We're, oh, and actually didn't mention step 7 is the most important part. And that is really about, step 7 is about putting this all together. So we feel like applying the system, that's the hardest part. So that's the step 7 of our system, is to apply it to your life in a way that works for you. Because we don't just want you healing from adrenal fatigue. We don't want you ever to be back here again, suffering from hormonal imbalance or adrenal issues ever again. And so that's why we're so, committed to supporting people on this journey of like full transformation. So again, just want you to know that there's options out there. Find a program, find people that you trust to support you in this journey. If you're interested in learning about Fatigue to Fabulous, we walk you through these 7 steps, and we help you apply them to your life. So you can actually, with supplement protocols, we have meal plans, and I think the most powerful thing for people is the weekly coaching calls, where we're addressing people's questions. We're answering your questions with clarity, so you can come back feeling clear with what to do next. You're not overwhelmed. And then you can start to you can just continue to move forward. You're also coming to us with your weekly issues, the things that come up in life, and we're helping you process, whether they be family stuff, toxic relationships, your issues with supplements, and we're guiding you through, because we honestly feel that, especially with supplements, you should not be taking supplements without being under the guidance of a health professional. It's just, we feel like it happens a lot in our community. We see it a lot of times where people are taking free advice from people on Facebook or other forums, from people who haven't healed yet. And we just want to really remind people that can be a really, it's not a safe road to go down. Please make sure if you're taking supplements that you're consulting a health professional. We recommend, functional medicine doctors, naturopathic doctors are some of the best to work with this particular condition. And, but we want you to know that we don't want you to lose hope. And if you want to take these steps and implement it into your life in 2020, we're super stoked for you to do that. You can be a part of our free community, and we can help you out with that. But if you're looking for more structure, more accountability, and more like support, so that when you have those bad days or you have those setbacks, or you have those questions, you know that they're getting answered from a group of professionals, from professionals who have been doing this for over a decade, who've been working in the field of health and personal transformation, and adrenal fatigue in particular, hormonal imbalance as well. Our naturopaths have been doing this for, like I said, over a decade. So anyway, we're really excited for Fatigue to Fabulous. We're going to be switching up Fatigue to Fabulous in 2020. So we're actually never going to offer it for the price of $527 again. So we're doubling the price, and it'll probably keep going up from there. And so we're letting a handful of people in the program to start 2020 out with a bang, and really making this the year that you recover once and for all. So if you're interested, I'm definitely going to include links, and you can also find more about it in our profile here if you're on Instagram watching. Any other questions anyone has? Let me go to Facebook real quick, because it's really hard to see the comments and questions here. Oh, people are saying, hi, Merry Christmas, waving to me. Oh, they're so sweet. What if you sleep too much, like 14 hours a day, and you have trouble waking up? Is that bad? I'm not sure if you're still with me, Yuri, but that's a really good question. I would say, I'm curious, why is it 14 hours? Is it because you're exhausted, or is that just like a normal thing? And if you have trouble waking up, I think, there is a point of oversleeping and being overtired, that it can be hard to wake up after that much sleep. But if you're in like stage 3 burnout mode, this could be exactly what your body needs. And I wouldn't judge it or say that it's bad. And at the same time, because I feel like that judgment about sleep and your body and what it needs, and judging it is not going to serve. So I would just say, listen to your body as best you can. I'm so sorry, you guys. I need another drink of water. Yeah, so I think waking up, I would say if you're having trouble waking up, though, that's something you want to address. You want to look into your hormones. Have you been tested before? I'd be curious to know kind of where you're at with that. If you're, if that's hard to wake up in the morning, I'm guessing your cortisol in the morning is low. Probably, that's just what I would say. And so if you haven't gotten your hormone levels checked, I would do that. Again, you're not going to get the clearest, most detailed picture from a regular mainstream practitioner. It'd be something like, going to get the 4-point cortisol test done, or the Dutch test, to really get some clarity on that. And yeah, and if you're sleeping 14 hours, then I would say, if you're able to do that right now, enjoy it, soak it up, get your hormone levels checked, and And yeah, just keep, you know, keep asking us questions, keep coming back, and we can support you with that. But that's, I don't know if you're still here, so I haven't seen any other comments. So you might have moved on, and I hope that was helpful to, yeah, those are that would be my suggestion at this point. So, all right, you guys, I wish you all happy holidays. It was so fun to be here with you tonight. I hope this was helpful. And if you can continue to submit your questions, especially on the Facebook page, we'll be posting this on YouTube as well. So you can go there and ask questions, keep the conversation going. We do have our free Facebook if you want to come be a part of that. And you can find that if you just Google Adrenal Fatigue, the holistic healing, you can find us there. And yeah, just if you're interested, we would love to have you join us on Fatigue to Fabulous this year, like I said, and guide you every step of the way through our system, proven system. And feel free to reach out to info@hyaf.ca. That's info@hyaf.ca. That's our email, and we can tell you more about that program and how you can get started, and just all the support that is there for you as we guide you through the 7 steps, as well as the weekly support calls, recipes, meal plans, supplement protocols, the list goes on. So nice to see all of you this evening. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been such a pleasure. Go have wonderful holidays. Take care of yourself, and making sure that you balance some of the hard days and take care of yourself. Really nourish and nurture yourself on the days before and after those big events, so we can have that crash-free holiday season that we talked about last week. Next week, we're going to be coming at you with Facebook Live on supplements, so look forward to having you all there. Stay tuned for that. It'll be awesome. Okay, bye for now.